It's the season of love, but this Valentine's Day week, the FBI is reminding love seekers to be careful who you share your personal information with. Romance scams are on the rise. Cleveland FBI Special Agent in Charge, Charles Johnston, is joining us now to share more on some of the troubling trends that we're seeing in Ohio and across the country. Charles, thank you for joining us.
Lindsay, thanks for having us. It's very important that we partner to get the word out on these types of scams that hopefully we can better protect our communities.
Yes, you say the Cleveland FBI field office is seeing scams that involve criminals making fake profiles on dating apps and social media to get people's personal information and maybe even for them to send them money. What are some of the ways that they're convincing people to do this?
Well, oftentimes, look, they have three quick goals, and one is to establish a quick relationship. Secondly, to gain trust and endear themselves. And then third, there's going to be a request for money. And the ways that they do that, they oftentimes look at people's social media profiles and different things that they make public where they can learn a little bit more about their targets and understand them more. The perpetrators of these types of frauds are very good. They're very smooth talking when they're communicating. They're very well scripted. They spend a lot of time to perfect their methods in order to pull on the emotional heartstrings of people and to gain their trust, and then ultimately either gain money or personal identifiable information that would make them vulnerable to other types of crimes.
And who do they usually prey on, would you say?
Well, in particular, romance scams and what we call confidence scams, which are just, again, gaining confidence and then asking or taking money. We often see the older population being targeted. Oftentimes somebody that's widowed or divorced or has some other type of vulnerability that they're able to expose. But I will say this, we've seen victims of all types, and frankly, anybody that has a device and is on the internet could be a victim of these types of crimes.
What do their profiles or accounts look like, and maybe what are some of the red flags that you could maybe say, you know what, this is a front, or maybe this is artificial intelligence, this isn't really someone that's real?
Yeah, that's a great question. The problem is most of the times their profiles are going to look just fine superficially, but we have a number of things that we would like people to do. Number one is to be careful what they post themselves online and make public, that personal information that could be used, to exploit them. But the perpetrators' profiles, there's ways that you can check pictures that are used and profiles. There's search engines that you can go and see if these pictures have been used before or these profiles have been used before. But the key is if something seems, too perfect or too quick, it probably is, and there's reason to be suspicious. But we like people to basically slow it down and ask a lot of questions of somebody that they believe they're trying to get to know online.
Yeah, or maybe even say, hey, let's meet in person and see if they're actually real. Probably they'd push back on that. The FBI says Ohioans lost over $15.3 million to fraud, to confidence and romance scams like you described in 2023. Nationally, that figure was $652 million. What is your advice to avoid getting scammed before it's too late, especially when it comes to your money?
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's the whole reason we're here. But I do want to say you're right about meeting in person. They will almost never meet in person. There's always going to be a reason that they can't. They live somewhere else in the country, or they live in another country altogether. So that's going to be, if you're in a relationship online and it's been months and you haven't met in person, that's another good reason to be suspicious. Things that we would like people to do is to be careful what they put online. Number two, to talk to people about their relationships. One tact that these perpetrators use is they're going to try to isolate the victims from their family and friends. They don't want people talking about these relationships. If people believe they've been a victim of these types of crimes, we want them to report it to 1-800-CALL-FBI or on ic3.gov. That's Internet Crime Complaint Center, the number 3.gov. We really appreciate you having us here, and hopefully be able to help the community in a better way.
Absolutely. Important information. We're going to get this out to everyone watching here tonight. Hopefully they can share it with people they know too. Thank you for joining us, Charles.
Thank you, ma'am.